Good morning to all the Year 4 boys at Summerfields School and to your fantastic teacher, Miss Ainsworth. My name is Alistair Humphreys. I'm an adventurer and an author. I write books and I've written the Boy Who Bite the World book, which you're currently reading at school. Thank you very much for reading my book. I've also written a book called Great Adventurers, which you can read and enjoy if you can speak Korean. It is in English as well, but this is the Korean version. Look how cool the Korean writing is. I love it. Got no idea what it says, so I hope the translator got it all right, but it looks fantastic. You've been asking me some brilliant questions. I haven't looked at them, so this is going to be a surprise. So let me dive in. It's Monday morning, and I should right now be writing my next book, so you're helping me skive my work. So I'm very happy to answer these. Which is the hardest country to cycle through and why? Well, there's a lot of choices, but today here in England it's really windy, really windy. So that reminds me of cycling through Patagonia, down at the very bottom of South America, Chile and Argentina, where sometimes the wind was so strong that I couldn't even ride my bike. I just had to, on totally flat roads, I was just walking, pushing the bike along, and even having to push a bike downhill because it was so windy. That was pretty hard. What was the trickiest part of your journey? Trickiest, that's a very specific sort of difficult. Trickiest. Ooh, there's lots of hard things about any good adventure. What was tricky? Okay, I will choose today, because there's lots of options, I'll choose trying to sort out the visas and the paperwork for different countries. To go from one country to another, legally you have to have a passport to get permission to go from one country to the next. And sometimes you can just go happily from one country to the next, and that's nice and easy. In Britain, before Brexit, we used to be able to just do that, go wherever we want in Europe, and people in Europe could go wherever they wanted to Britain, and it was all nice and easy. But other parts of the world are harder, and you have to get a visa, you have to get permission in your passport, a stamp saying you're allowed in our country for this many days. So trying to organise all of those around the world was really hard. And I actually filled up 2 passports with all the different stamps that I used on the trip. How old was I when I cycled around the world? I set off when I was 24 and I got home when I was 29. What was the most dangerous part? Well, you might think dangers were maybe crossing the mountains, some really narrow little mountain passes with big drops down, or maybe freezing conditions of Siberia, but or dangerous humans desperately trying to attack me. That wasn't the case at all. The people I met in the world were so kind and friendly, and I felt pretty safe. You have to be careful, of course, but I felt pretty safe everywhere I went. So I think the danger was probably cycling on busy roads where cars are going too fast and not paying attention. And the trouble with that is that the danger is out of your control. If you're walking down a narrow mountain path, you get to choose the risks you take and whether you think you're safe. But when you're cycling on a road, boom, you're just at the risk of someone. So I think that was probably the hardest bit. What was the biggest risk that you took? Ooh, biggest risk I took cycling around the world. I'm not sure anyone's asked me that before. That's a good question. Well, I did a few stupid things, such as cycling late at night on motorways with no lights in certain parts of the world, and that was just pretty stupid, but felt like it had to be done at the time. Occasionally, I camped in places that felt not that safe, but I didn't feel I had any other option. Colombia, when I cycled through Colombia, there was a civil war going on at the time, so fighting amongst the country, and everyone told me not to go there. The government, security experts, they all said don't go there, it's too dangerous. But I'd come so far, I didn't want to just break the chain of the journey, so I decided to take that risk and go there, and it was great. I had a fantastic time. But I was always aware that that was a risk. I was having a great time, but if I just happened to meet the wrong people on the wrong day, it could have been much more dangerous. So I really enjoyed that, but it was risky. What was the most fascinating thing about the Maasai tribe? The Maasai are a group of people in East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania. I think what was most fascinating was the enjoyment of choosing to live a very simple, nomadic farming life. I think a lot of people these days, and a lot of poor people, they think that what they want to do in life is get rich, move to the city, get a mobile phone. But generally, that's quite a struggle for people in the world to go from really poor areas to trying to make it successfully in modern city life is quite hard and often not that happy. And I really like that the Maasai were just enjoying their simple farming life, and I'm sure some of them wanted to change, but a lot of them didn't want to change, were just enjoying that. And I really appreciated that slow simplicity, the basic, just enjoying nature and being with your friends and being with your family, and that was enough. I really liked that. What was your favourite food in the trip, and which country did you eat it in? Well, I'm really hungry now as I speak to you. So, favourite food, right? There's lots of options here, but I'm going to choose today. So I cycle through Central Asia, and it's a brilliant part of the world, but the food isn't actually that good. So then I got out of Central Asia into a little country called Georgia, and suddenly Georgia has delicious food again. After a few months of stodgy, not that nice noodles, Georgia had delicious, spicy, tasty food. And one thing in particular you might want to look up was called khachapuri. It's spelt, how the heck do you spell khachapuri? I think it's Khachach, Apuri, something like that. But if you type in Georgian cheese on toast, you'll probably find it. It's basically a sort of cheese on toast, sort of pizza, but the best thing is people eat it for breakfast, and you can buy it from little stalls by the road. So I'd have like a cheese on toast pizza thing as I was cycling along, and I'd buy another one, I'd ride up a hill and eat another one. So that was really delicious. Ooh, my mouth is watering now. Which country was the easiest to communicate with local people? Well, that will be the countries I went to that spoke English. So quite a lot of East and Southern Africa and America and Canada. Yeah, they're the countries I went to that were native English speaking. What was the most important equipment you took with you? My bike, very important. And a bike repair kit. And I had a little book on how to repair your bike, because I'm rubbish at fixing bikes and mechanics. So I had a little book that was quite helpful. Favourite continent and why? Gosh. I'm going to choose Africa because it was my first continent. And I think the start of an adventure really, really stays in your mind. You just think everything is, wow, this is new, this is crazy, this is exciting, this is scary, I'm learning so much, this is incredible. So I'll choose Africa for that reason. Strangest place you slept overnight? I slept in lots of weird places. Slept in quite a few sewage pipes, the sort of drainage pipes under roads. They're actually pretty good. They keep you nice and dry. Slept in a few graveyards, fire stations, police stations, churches, mosques. Oh, I'll tell you where I didn't sleep that I tried to. In Malawi, I was really looking for a place to sleep. So I went to the local prison because I was desperate to find somewhere to sleep. And I said, please, can I sleep in the prison? And they said, no, only prisoners can sleep in a prison. So I said, what crime do I have to commit that means I get punished by one night in a nice prison bed? And they told me to go away. So I failed to sleep in a prison, which is probably a good thing. How many countries in total? I cycled through 60 countries. How did you cross over the seas and oceans? Well, I tried to get around the whole world without using a plane, so I had to cross the seas by boat. So I crossed from England to France just on the normal ferry with everyone going on holiday. I crossed from Africa to South America on a sailing boat, a racing yacht, which is a brilliant adventure. I crossed the Pacific from Alaska to Asia on a huge, giant cargo ship. And then I came back from France to England on the ferry with all the people who'd been on holiday for 2 weeks. And I'd been on my bike for 4 years. And I got home and saw England and home and my family and my friends for the first time in 4 years. So that was a crazy ferry trip. Yeah, good times. Well, thank you very much, Year 4. They were excellent questions. And most importantly, thank you for helping me procrastinate to put off doing my work for 10 minutes, which hopefully you won't do. When you get given your work, make sure you do it straight away. Thank you so much for reading my book, and good luck with all of your own adventures. Bye bye.